Next, we're going to have a look at how to populate timesheets in HRS Pro. Excuse me. Currently, I'm on a temp job, as we can see, and we can see that there are 3 temps in this job, and they've got a contract each at the bottom. Richard Branson, if I just go into his contract, clicking on the arrow to the left of extension 00, we can see that I've created 2 timesheets for him for date ending or week ending 14th of June and the 21st of June. So if I close that down and stay in the job record and go across to the timesheets tab, by default when you click on the timesheets tab within the job record, you'll see the timesheets for the current week. So we can see those 3 temps sat there for week ending 14th of June. If you like to print off blank timesheets to send your clients, you can hit the print blank timesheets at the bottom. And just underneath, what you can see is it will just list the company name and the contract, and it will list all the temps that are working at that company and the role for that week. And then obviously the client can manually fill in the hours worked using this timesheet. So that can be printed off or saved as a PDF and then sent to the client to populate. What I'm going to do is go in and populate Richard Branson's timesheet. Populating timesheets can either be done here in the job record itself, or can be done inside the candidate's record, or can be done in the back office. And in the back office, it allows you to access all timesheets for every job for this week on the database. Whereas obviously in the job record, which is where I am at the moment, it only shows us the temps that are working in that particular job. So I'm going to fill them in here. Whichever way you fill them in, it doesn't matter, it's exactly the same. I'm going to go into his timesheet by clicking on the arrow to the left, and up comes the timesheet. We can see it's set to PAYE, which means it will calculate holiday pay and NI as I populate the timesheet line items. And then when you open up the timesheet, we can just see the days of the week down the left-hand side. And all I need to do is click in the rate column and choose the rate that they have worked and make sure the units are correct per line item as I populate. So we can see that it's defaulting to 8 hours a day, but that can obviously be edited. So I'm going to say that he did 8 standard hours on the Monday, 8 hours on the Tuesday, 8 hours on the Wednesday, 8 hours on the Thursday, and 8 hours on the Friday. Obviously you can lay them out individually like that on each line, or there's nothing to stop you just filling in one line at the top of standard hours and editing the units to 40, as long as the number of units is correct against each rate. Now, if I want to add overtime, so let's say he did 8 hours of standard hours on Monday the 8th, but he also did 2 hours at double time, then all I need to do is click underneath the next day line at the bottom and just choose the 8th again. Obviously it's already on hourly, and choose my other rate, double time, and then edit the units on the right to however many hours of overtime they did, so 2. As I fill in these line items, if I go to the holiday pay data tab, the next one along, we can see that it's actually working out the holiday hours, the holiday pay, and the holiday days that he's accruing. It's also working out the PAYE, if I've obviously got the PAYE in there. And also in here we've got an expenses tab as well. And if I click on the expenses tab, it allows me to put in any expenses. And if I click on the drop down arrow underneath rate, we can see that I've got one expense rate set up in the back office just called expenses, but you might have a lot more, one for mileage, etc. I'm just going to use expenses, and then we can either enter it as a pay rate, i.e. what you're paying the temp for expenses, or a charge rate, what you're charging the client for expenses. So I'm just going to add a pay rate of 0.30p for a mile, and they did 100 miles on that day, which obviously gives me a total pay of £30, so that will be added to the invoice. And if I just go back and put that was on the 8th of June as well. So filling in the timesheet line items, pretty straightforward. Once you've completed the timesheet, we then need to go and check on the completed checkbox in the top right hand corner. And then that means it will be available to be invoiced in the back office. And then I'm just going to literally close it down using the cross in the top left hand corner. Now, the next timesheet I'm going to fill in is again for Richard Branson, but the next week, but I'm going to fill it in from his record as opposed to the job record that I'm in at the moment. So I'm going to click on the grey arrowhead to the left of his name. That takes me into his record. And whilst I'm in his record, I'm just going to go across and click on his holiday pay tab. And that will show me the holiday hours he's accrued, the holiday days he's accrued, and the pay, holiday pay that he's accrued from that timesheet. And we see a total of all that at the bottom. So he's got £63.69 of holiday pay remaining, and he's got 0.63 holiday days remaining. So in the other timesheet that we had for him for the 21st of June, I'm going to go into that timesheet now, but I'm going to do it from within here, but it's exactly the same window. And I'm just going to put in a couple more days of standard hours. And then what I'm going to do is on the Wednesday, I want to put in holiday that he's taken. So he's taken a half-day holiday on Wednesday the 17th. So all I need to do is to the right of that, we've got these holiday checkboxes, whether he's taken a whole day or half a day. So I'm going to click on the half-day checkbox, and then I'm going to go back and say that's at the standard hourly rate. And we can see that it pulls through the £12 an hour. Obviously, it doesn't charge the client. And it changes the units on the right-hand side to just be 4. And then if I close this down by completing it first, and then close the timesheet down top left, we can see on that timesheet line, we've got the holiday day taken is 0.5, and the equivalent pay value for that is £48. And that obviously comes off at the bottom. So holidays taken 0.5, he did have 0.87, so he's now gone down to 0.37 holiday days remaining. And on the left, he did have £86.85 holiday pay accrued. He's taken off the equivalent £48 for that half a day, which leaves him with holiday pay remaining £38.85. So the holiday pay will obviously calculate as long as the contract type for that contract is set to PAYE. And looking at the candidate's holiday pay tab, you can see a running total of how much they've got remaining. And that's how to populate timesheets in HRS Pro.